we are going to speak about neuromanagement. I don't know if all of you have some knowledge about what is neuromanagement or what doesn't. Okay, uh, but mainly I'm going to explain neuromanagement in my point of view. Okay, you can looking for this item in Google or whatever you want, or reading about that in TED Talk or see some videos about that, and maybe you are going to find some reference to other kind or other point of view of this concept. Okay, I'm going to speak about that in my point of view and speaking about my experience, about the way that I'm using this kind of rules or this kind of things that is very important for me in the way that you work or in the way that you use the technology and in the way that you manage projects and this kind of situation. Okay, that's the point of my subtitle. When you say let's work with people, not with projects or products, I'm going to speak about mainly about this. I'm going to speak about neuromanagement. I'm going to speak about what is for me the situation that we have at job that we didn't didn't know that is happening, because we are people, we are not machines in our work. Okay, and we have feelings and all of this. I'm going to compare neuromanagement with agile, because I think agile is the best representation of neuromanagement in a methodology. Okay, I'm going to share with you some examples, some companies, some big companies that is working about that is working a lot in this way, and now with the a post-pandemic situation, it is more important than before, and it's very it's very important to keep in our mind that is a situation that all the companies are using, and I think is a best way to achieve goals that we have inside Babel or in any company that we work. Okay, what are we going to speak? No, if you speak about the projects, you always think about cost, about the scope, about time, about a methodology to do this. Like a waterfall or in agile, you think about a product, exactly a product, not a product. Is a and not the same a project or a product, because when you create a product, it's regular that you are doing a project. Okay, but sometimes the product is more linked with agile. To do all of this situation in our environment, we are using technology. Okay, in a lot of technologies, we have a lot of things to develop to work in our environment. Okay, we have to manage a lot of situations, the scope, the customer, the problems with technology, the versions, and a lot of things. We have to 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 control of this situation. But all of this, you have to keep under control all of this situation. But all of this is under control by people. Okay, without people, nothing exist. Okay, and you have to keep this in mind. This is very important, that you have to think that all of this situation happened because some person is thinking about what is the way to do this, what is creating frameworks, so it's creating a new methodology to do the things, and all of things that happens around a technology environment or a work. Okay, what is the way to balance or to keep under control this situation? I always think in a equilateral triangle. Okay, you have to keep in your mind that you have in each place of this triangle a variable that you have to keep under control to achieve your goals. Okay, and all of these sides of these sides have to be of the same long. Okay, have the same side. Maybe you have to think in the, maybe not sure, you have to think in people, you have to think in the project, you have to think in the technology. But if you only think in one of them, I think is the probability that you are going to achieve your goal is less if you think in all of them at the same level, okay? And you have to keep this under control, okay? Under balance. Do you think that this is okay? It is completely, you have under control all the things only with 3 variables? Maybe you need other variable, other E or B variable, or maybe you have to think in the variable of P, okay, in the variable of people only. But I think it's not enough, okay? I think that when you are doing projects, you have to think in a lot of variables. And in our case, in our style of company, that we are doing service with technology for our customers, we have to think in a lot of triangles, and we have to keep under control all of this situation, okay? Maybe you have to think in Babel because we have to earn money. You have to think in the rentability, in the profits of our projects. We have to think in the customer because they have a kind of architecture or other, or they are to deploy the things in Amazon. And you have to think in the front end, in the back end. You have to think in the quality, and you have to think in the functionality because you have to keep under control a lot of things. Okay, and exactly always you have to think in people because all of these situations have people surround them, okay? And you say, okay, with 3 is enough. No, it's not enough. We have a lot of triangles that we have to keep under control, and each situation maybe is one triangle that you have to create, and suddenly you have to create other one to go deeper in the problem or these kind of situations, okay? And for me, it's a thing that it's work for me because you have, if you have to decide things with 20 variables at the same time, it's impossible. You have to split. I remember a thing that I study in my career, that is, you have to divide and you are going to win. Okay, and it's very important to divide the problem, to split the problem, to solve each part, and with these parts, with all parts, when all parts are solving, you have the big problem with a good solution. Okay. And then, what is the triangle of the people? Okay, if all the things you have to balance, if you all the thing, if I'm a person that use a triangle for all the things, what is the triangle of the people? No, we have a professional life. We have some person think that we can split our professional life with the personal life. Okay, and we have other important variable that is our knowledge. Okay, and in our world, in technology environment, the knowledge is very important. No, what is the capabilities that you have to offer? And for me, this is all this is the things that is, you complete a professional, a person with the knowledge that is working, is people working. Okay, we can compare technology and people, and you say, oh, this guy is crazy. He's going to he's saying to me that we are not machines, but he's going to compare the most common technology architecture, that is what view controller model, this MVC. Okay, and that is the most common way to do the things. Okay, and we can compare this. What is the architecture of a person? What is the architecture of people? Okay, and all of us have a view. Maybe in our environment we have a view that is our professional, is the way that we have if our behavior that we show to our coworkers and these kind of situations. Okay, and we use the controller is our knowledge, because when we receive a request, we show our knowledge and use our knowledge to solve this problem. And our knowledge is going to be in a place, okay, in a database, and we have to access to the model. But our model, our real model, is our personal part. Okay, because our feelings in this moment maybe is going to cut our connection with our knowledge. Okay, or it's going to connect or cut our connection with our experience. Okay, and for me, the most important part is that, because if you feel in some way, maybe you are going to feel different in this day in the job, and maybe you are going to have some mistakes that in other days is impossible to have. And I have the knowledge, so I have the experience that it's impossible to split the professional and the personal life. Okay, and it's very important to keep this in mind. Okay, we are people working. Okay, and now we know that we are going to speak. We are to speak about people, and we are going to speak about the things that happen in our work, and maybe things that maybe there are things that happen in the work that we don't realize, or we don't show to ourselves that these things are happening. Okay, and this kind of situation, for example, when we are developing, and you have the expectation, when we begin to develop, you have the expectation that our work is going to be, is going to be like that. Okay? And suddenly you have the reality. This is the work of a developer. Okay, we stay, we have to look, have to looking for the solution and Stack Overflow and say, oh my goodness. Okay, and here we have a lot of situation. We have frustration, we have fear because we are not going to solve the problem, and we have to deliver our task. We have a surprise because suddenly we try to solve in a way that we think, okay, it's impossible that it's going to work. Suddenly, okay, I'm happy because I solved that, and I never. And sometimes you say, what I did? Sorry, I don't know what was the solution. Okay, and all of this situation produce in us this kind of smiles. Okay, and all of that is emotions. Okay, we are people with emotions, and we show that emotions in our work. Okay, other thing is like that. Sorry, because this is in Spanish, but I'm going to show a little bit only. What you are going to see is the expression of the people, and the way of the people is. Sorry, I'm going to. I'm going to go faster with that because it's in Spanish, okay?
Vuelve aquí.
Happen some things. I don't know if you know this
No me
film
siento feliz, Bob, ni un poquito.
and the things that is going to happen here.
Pues me alegro, mira. Has estado a esto de perder tu trabajo.
¿Qué ha sido eso?
You know, this here we have a lot of. I know that it's in Spanish, but it's a conversation, an employee with his boss, okay? And the boss is requesting a situation, and the employee want to go out because he wants to help people that is outside suffering, and this situation happened with the communication, and here there is a lot of kind of communication. Is oral, not oral. One person is aggressive, the other is assertive, is passive. But in our day by day, all the days, we have to communicate things to other one. Okay, and the way that you communicate the things is very important in the way that you are going to feel in your work. Okay, and for me, other thing that happen in our job all the day, and happen things in the correct or in the correct word, or sometimes we have problems because the communication is not perfect, okay? And it's very difficult, the communication in a company, but I think it's the most important part to achieve a goal in a project, to achieve a goal in a developer, or in all of the things, okay? Now we are going to see to Kobe Bryant doing things.
Like I would watch Magic play. I'd watch Michael play. And I would see them do these unbelievable things, and I'd say, can I get to that level? I don't know, but let's find out.
What do we see in this video, okay? I think for me, we see here consistency, we see here determination, we see here security, we here empathy with other players, and we see here peace, security to achieve the things, okay? And think here for me is leadership, it's a confidence, it's a trust to achieve something, and to arrive to some places. It only depend of you, or depend the way that you face off the things, okay? And here I think that is an example. Kobe Bryant see his reference, okay, and follow up that, and have the confidence day by day to achieve the things, okay? I'm not going to put this one, okay? I'm sorry, but this is a famous psychology here in Spain. Okay, he's Victor Cooper's. He's a positive psychology, okay, and he speak about knowledge, about skills, about attitude, about a concept of he have that is puff. It's like the attitude that you have when, for example, it's Monday morning and you say, oh my goodness, I don't want to go to my job today, it's crazy, and but you have the aptitude to solve this kind of situation, okay? And for Victor, has a way to define the value, okay, the value of you as a professional, okay, and this way is always positive, okay. For Victor, value is that is the plus of knowledge and your skills. This is part of your value, but this is a plus. For Victor, your attitude multiply, okay. It's in red because it you can improve your knowledge, you can improve your skills, but it's going to plus, it's not going to multiply. And I think it's very important the way that you face off your work, okay? The way of you face your relationship with your coworkers, the way that you use to communicate in this kind of situation, okay? Then what do we experience at work that we don't see this kind of situation? Because we live thinking that we are developing, we are doing managing projects, but all the things that happen and the impact that these kind of things have in the project, in the delivery, is so important that it's very important to keep in mind this kind of situation to take decisions, okay? And as is regular in me, I'm going to use a triangle to keep under control this kind of situation, to keep under control the confidence, the trust of the people, to keep under control the way that you use the communication in the project, the communication with your team, the communication between each people in the organization, okay? Be positive. It's very important to be positive because all of this situation have an impact in your emotions, in the way that you face off the works and you face off the day by day and use this kind of situation. Keeping this in mind, I think that we are going to be more positive, okay? Then, after that, what is neuromanagement, okay? What is that? I'm going to put that. I know that is in Spanish. Okay, really sorry because I didn't find a better explanation about that. I think he's going to speak slowly, and I don't know if how many people is going to understand. But I think it's very important. It's only 1 minute. Okay, I'm going to share with this.
¿Qué es Neuromanagement? Pues Neuromanagement es la fusión de los conocimientos de cómo funciona el cerebro con lo que los conocimientos del management te aportan. Es enriquecer justamente esos conocimientos de cómo gestionar, cómo dirigir, cómo conducir una organización. Donde lo principal es que, además de la formación específica en las áreas funcionales, sea finanzas, sea producción, sea personal, sea comercialización, además de ello, haya entrenamiento del cerebro, desarrollo de capacidades de atención, de percepción, de memoria, de concentración atencional, de desarrollo de inteligencia, de intuición, de autoliderazgo emocional y fundamentalmente esto último, a raíz de los problemas y circunstancias que entornan hoy día a todas las organizaciones y países. Lograr autoliderazgo emocional superando condiciones de estrés. Esto es Neuromanagement, un desafío para el futuro de las organizaciones.
Nestor Redot is from Argentina, and he's an specialist, and he's speaking about the definition of neuromanagement. As you can see, neuro is for neuronal, management is to handle the project, to keep under control with methodologies and PMP or whatever you want in your mind. Okay. For him, neuromanagement is the plus of the combination of the brain, of the training of the brain, the knowledge that you have to handle the projects. Okay. And he is sharing with us that it's very important to train your brain. Okay, it's impossible to achieve the goals in the organization if you didn't train your brain. Okay, and it's very important to this kind of situation. And he's speaking about the leadership in emotional way. Okay, when the people is speaking about the leadership, all the things that happening sometimes is the kind of leadership or other things in this way. But I don't know if you are comfortable speaking about emotional leadership, because it's very difficult to do this kind of situation. I have to keep the distance in the people, because this is personal, the emotionals are personal, and it's very important at the same time knows that the people in your team has emotion, and this has an impact, a very important impact in your project or in the job or in the day by day. And it's very important if you are one of the leaders, or you have the responsibility to be leadership in your organization, keep this under your mind. Okay, it's not the same conversation is not the same on Monday than on Friday, or it's not the same if you have a problem with your health, or it's different if you have a problem with your with your friends or with your family or whatever. Okay, and if you have this in your mind when you are doing that, is probably that you are going to do or to be a better leader. Okay, and this is a thing that I'm not I don't agree with Nestor, is that this is a challenge for the future, is the meaning of this sentence. It's a challenge for the future, and I think that this is not correct, but I'm going to explain next. Okay, for me, that's a way to train your brain, is to be confident, to be positive, to use a good skills for communication. And for me, it's very important that this is not for the future, as I say, this is for the present. I think with the pandemic, with all the situations that are happening in the world, it's very important to keep this under mind. Okay, is under control. Okay, and never is late for learn. okay, for learning about that. We have a brain plasticity that we are able to learn a lot of things in this way, okay? And we speak about emotions, and this is the kind of leadership that we have to keep in mind, okay? We have to know a lot of knowledge, we have to know a lot of technology, we have to know to know a lot of things, okay? But we have to keep in mind that we have to know or to learn or keep under control these kind of situations too, okay? Then what kind of techniques, I forget to translate that, sorry. What kind of techniques we can use to train our brain or to do leadership in emotional way, okay? I'm going to share with you what kind of situation I have in my knowledge and I regular use, okay? That's my point of view. There are a lot of techniques to do this kind of leadership, but for me, these kind of situations are very important, and not only in my professional way, it's important in my personal life too. And for me, I'm going to share that. I'm not a professional on that. It's only my curiosity. It's only the way that I try to improve myself, and in this way improve my professional environment with this kind of techniques, okay? But if you want to know things about, I'm going to share some reference to read or to see some videos about this kind of techniques, okay? For me, there are three of them. I'm going to speak about Enneagram. Okay, I'm going to speak about not violent communication. Okay, and I'm going to speak about positive psychology. Okay. For me, neuromanagement are these three things. Okay, the balance to do neuromanagement with people is using at the same level these three things. Okay, this is not the if impossible to do that only with three variables, but if you want to go deeper in each of them, you are going to keep in your mind that this is it's impossible to to reduce that in 1 hour. Okay, it's there are a lot of information, there are a lot of knowledge about ourselves, there are a lot of situation that you have to keep in mind that is impossible and to teach in 1 hour. Okay, but you have my intention with this after work is only that you have some new knowledge, or to keep in your mind that sometimes you can do things in other way, and if you are going to read something about that in the next days, or you realize that you have some inquietude about what is the way that you can manage the things with neuromanagement, is for me is a success this afterward. Okay, Enneagram. I'm going to reference you, Claudio Naranjo. He's from Chile. I think he has a lot of information in English. Okay, this is a web page with a lot of information, and Enneagram is a way to define, not to define, to know yourself. Okay, and to know what is the things that move, or the things that are very important for other person. Okay, this is a classification of a personality. Okay, for me it's so powerful to know, to grow up to yourself in your professional life or in your personal life. Okay, this is nine personalities. Okay, I think that FBI use this kind of classification. There are a lot for steps way, other one. I don't know. There are a lot of different ways to do this kind of situation. Here, in a summary, we can split these 9 personalities in 3 kind of the people that is action, okay, that they want to do things. When we are working, sometimes in a meeting, you say, okay, let's go to think about what is the best solution, okay? And this person is the mentals, okay, the people that is living in the brain. But we have other person in the meeting and say, let's go to try something, let's go to try once, other, twice, 3 times. And if we are going to, it's like we are going to try, and sometimes we are going to success with this action, okay? And finally, we have that the people that is in emotional living, okay, that people that maybe is in this meeting and okay, I feel so sad because we have this mistake and I don't know what is the next step, but now we have to know what is the person with the responsibility that this kind of things happen. And they want to know what is the environment before go to the next step, okay? And this is only an example, okay? All of them have some features, some situation that the people, uh, is the things that move the decision in this person, okay? And I have to explain a lot of what is the meaning of each line and these kind of situations. But if you have curiosity about this kind of techniques, you have to read about, because it's longer than I can explain in this after work. Okay, I'm going to explain, for example, some examples. No, for example, when you have I'm going to share some of them. Okay, not all of them. Okay, but if, for example, if you are 6 personality, if you are a person with a high level of fidelity, a high level of engagement with the things that you are doing, okay, and sometimes these people that is working in loyal environment, in a legal, or people that is working in workings that is routine, that have a exactly routine. The A personality is like a person that is leader, is the person that is always says, let's go with me, I'm going to do that with you, and we are going to do this together, and this kind of situation. And we have a lot of kinds of personality here. There's 9, and you have different state of healthy, and it's it's very complicated to go deeper with this one, okay? But for me, the definition of Enneagram is that, okay? What is the target of that? The target of that is that maybe you are speaking with other guy or with other person, and the situation that you are looking is the same. But when you have your perspective as a 9 personality, and the other one has the perspective of a 6 personality, they are always seeing the thing in their point of view, in his or her point of view, okay? And you have to go to the other place, no? It's the way that do the empathy. And if you know this kind of techniques, sorry, I think it's easier go to the other place, okay? And to have empathy, to know that not all the people have the same knowledge, or not all the people have the same thoughts about a way to solve. And it's not bad or good way, it's different way. We are going to achieve our goal if we balance this situation between different personalities that we have in the team, okay? And these are some examples of people, because, for example, I'm going to explain Cristiano Ronaldo is a target person, okay? He has in her mind have an objective. He wants to be the best player in history, and he's working all the day, and all the things that he's doing is to achieve this goal. He's going to do something in different way if this situation is not going to help him to achieve the goal, okay? And other things that we have here, other examples, the 5 personalities, a person with a lot of knowledge, that read a lot, that is always, that think that all the things are in the books, for example, is a good example. Okay? Is a good reference for these people. Okay. Other one is non-violent communication. Okay, it's a way to translate information between between people. Okay, I think that when we are speaking with other, sometimes it's like we have a gun in our mouth. Okay, I think this this picture is like, you know, it's an, when I find this picture, I say, oh my goodness, this is so hard, no? And I think that when we speak, sometimes we try to do a judgment to the other person, and it's very important to replace that for a not violent communication. Okay, because here in the communication we have a lot of emotions, and maybe you are going to lose your coworker or the help of your worker because the way that you are communicated is not the perfect way for this person. Okay, in this moment, for this reason is so difficult because each moment is different. When we are going to use the, sorry, what is the explanation of that? And sometimes I request to the people, please show me your face, show me, put on your camera, okay? Because I want to do this kind of communication, okay? Face-to-face communication is the best way to learn, to read each other emotions, okay? When we speak by phone, sometimes we can solve some facts, some easy facts by phone. But when we have to speak with other to a difficult conversation, the better way is face to face. Okay, it's not compulsory to be in the same room. It's better, but it's the compulsory way is that you can see the other face to realize or to keep in your mind that sometimes that you are saying maybe is not in the correct way for the other person, and you can change the way that you are speaking about. When to apply it? Conflict resolutions, general communications, negotiations. Sometimes when you speak about non-violent communication, sometimes Obama was a reference. They have a speech, a popular speech. I don't know if you watch this video sometimes, but this is a reference in this way of communication. Okay. I'm going to put an example. The non-violence communication is 4 steps. You have to do a process of observation, only facts, not judgments. Okay, the things that are happening. Okay, no. Sometimes we invent or we try to show the next step that is your feelings and change thinkings that are happening. Things that are happening because you put your feelings inside these things. Okay, and the next step is, you know, realize your feelings, looking for your needs, what do you need to the next step, okay, and do this request, okay, and you see that and you say, okay, it's easier than other things. I'm going to do that tomorrow, okay, but it's very difficult. I'm going to put an example that happens sometimes in our professional life, okay. This example is a way to communicate the same thing that can happen in our professional life. Last night, the server went down, and because of you, we all failed to deliver the work on time. This is violent communication. Okay, you caused a disaster. We finished at 3 a.m. and now we are all in a bad mood because you slept too few hours and we are stressed. When you call have avoided, we weren't expected to you is take responsibility and to be sensitive with you have clear not being with us. I want to ask you not to have any more unacceptable behavior, or you are very bad and an unreliable partner. Okay, as you can see, this is the way that the people usually are with. Okay, this is the people that the people usually use the communication way, but there are other ways to do that. Okay, last night the server crashed and was unable to submit my work on time. This is a fact. all the person that is going to read that is going to think this in the same way. Last night the server crashed. Okay, it's not a judgment. Okay, it's not a situation that you can do one interpretation and other people do other interpretation. Okay, then you have to show your feeling. I feel frustrated. I'm very exhausted mentally and physically as I was working until 3. I have slept very few hours, and that is why I feel affected by this situation. And you have to show to the other person what do you feel about that. Okay, and now it is important for me to feel secure, to know what is your need. I'm confident that the system is going to work when we are in a critical moment, and this goes through the explanation of your needs. And finally, you have to do the request and be part of this request, okay? My specific request is that, and the slightest possibility of technical error which can happen, we have a protocol and define this protocol with them and try to do that. And finally, do questions. Okay, what do you need from me to take it forward? That's okay with you? And you know, I read that and you say, okay, it's showing your feelings and this kind in the work, but all of us have our way to do the things. Maybe we can show more feelings or only one or whatever we want. But it's very important that we keep in mind that the way that you communicate with your team, the way that you communicate with your coworkers is going to be part of the success that you are going to have in your professional life. For me, that's that's a truth. That's my way to work and my way to live in a professional life. Okay, positive psychology. Okay, that's for me. That's very important. It's the way that you see your job. It's the way that you see your day. Okay, sometimes people link that to the happiness. Okay, I'm not sure about that because happiness is I think happiness is not a a state of your life. Happiness is each moment that you live, is my point of view. Okay, and it's very difficult to be happy all the time. Okay, and when you try to go through this in your job, trying to be happiness all the time in your job, I think it's more frustrated than other thing. Okay, than think that you can see your glass of water in the middle, not empty, not full, but if you are always in the same middle, is better for you. And some people say that this is be optimistic, and I think it's very important to be that in your job. I think if you think positive, you are going to attract to yourself positive things. Okay, I think that you have positive things in your mind, and sometimes in my life when I finish a very hard day, I say I'm going to looking for 3 positive things today, okay? Because I have maybe to hire something, to hire someone, or maybe I have to decide something in a way that is very hard for me or something like that. But I know that in the finish, I have to think in a positive way, and each of these situations, I live with a coworker that helped me, that put her hand in my shoulder, and I have an amazing person surround me to do these kind of situations, and always we have things positive surround us. Okay, please work, and try to face your challenge. Okay, and try to do that with a smart way. Okay, with a little targets, with little objectives, not put I'm going to be the next president of the nation. Okay, I'm going to be first of all the to work in politic way. If you are going to, if you want to be the president. Okay, that's I don't know if the best example, but it's the way that I find now. Okay, and you have live each moment. Okay, you have to stay in the present, living the moments that happen, and pay attention to the things that are happening around you, because there are a lot of positive things surround you every day. But sometimes we decide to go to the bad things because impact in your emotion more. But if you keep attent, if you keep paying attention about the things that are happening around you, you are going to find a lot of positive in your day. Okay, and if you don't have positive things, create you. That's the point. There are people that is going for their life with a smile, with speaking about jokes, and trying to help to be in a good way. And you are the expression here in Spanish is like maybe you are a company of moments, okay? And you try to do that in your job, and all of the things are going to be better, okay? Other things that you can keep in mind. You have to be a good leadership, but you are not. It's not compulsory to be a boss or to be a person with a high responsibility in a company to create leadership. Because for me, the best way to be a leadership is with example. Okay, I read in a book about my son about that your son is going to learn about you, and they are going to teach you. Okay, and do a question in this book that, are you ready? And it's a thought or a reflection that you have in your mind, that sometimes there are a lot of things happening around you, but I'm not sure that I'm ready to learn everything that is happening around you or surround me. Sorry. Okay, other thing is that the example is the best way. Okay, if you want that your son read, the first person that have to read is you. And I think if you are a leader and you want that your team is going to do something, if you are not going to do, your team is not going to do, or the probability that is going to do is less than if you are doing. Okay, and for me it's very important that give example. If you want a people that keep in your mind emotions to do through the projects, is very important. Give examples. We have mirror neurons all our life, and I think the copy paste in technology is the best way to do the things, but you have to know what is the thing that you have to copy and what are the things that you have to paste. Sometimes we have to decide this kind of situation. Okay, and you have to say thank you. It's amazing, but it's very important to say thank you. Okay, I think that there are studies about that in different universities, is that you say thank you to your co-workers, you reduce your stress and reduce your depression symptoms. Okay, and it's the same if you say thank you and if other persons say thank you to you. Okay, it's very important to say thank you. And I know that is strange, that maybe we are speaking about projects, we are speaking about people, we are speaking about leadership, and suddenly I'm going to say that it's very important to say thank you. Okay. Now I'm going to speak about some examples. No, I'm going to speak about people, about technology, about projects. I speak about emotions. I speak about neuromanagement, and now I'm going to compare this with agile. Okay, I know that I suppose that a lot of people here is working with agile way. Sorry, and I'm going to share with you. These are the principles of agile, the 12 principles. Okay. Sorry, it's in English, but I suppose that all of you, it's in Spanish, but I suppose that all of you knows a lot of them. I'm going to share with you some of them, and I remark some of these principles that we share in this afterward. Okay, the customer satisfaction. We speak about the quality. We speak about the expectations. That is very important. The expectations of our customer. The next one is the motivation of people. The next one is that we have to keep the conversation face to face. The other one is that the teams has to be auto-organized or organize themselves. We have to think always in continuous improvement, okay? And we have to have collaboration between business, between developers, and I am speaking about a lot of people working together with the same target, but not only the target of the organization. All the people has his themselves target. Okay, they have their own target. Sorry, is the best way to explain. And how I'm going to do that in my way or in neuromanagement way with this kind of situations. Okay, with Enneagram, with not violent, and finally with neuromanagement. Okay, this is my way to do all of these things. But working in Agile, I suddenly keep in my mind that Agile is when I review an sprint, when I see what is the ceremonies, what is the meetings that we have to do, the sprint backlogs, the sprint execution, the daily scrum, the retrospective, the sprint review, the product backlog, all the things that we have to do in a sprint, I realize that I can mix this with all the things that we are speaking about. The best way to do a retrospective, we have to say thank you for the things that we are doing well. And it's very important a non-violent communication in a retrospective, because if you use violence in this meeting is going to be very, very, very bad, because you're not going to achieve the goal of this meeting. Maybe you are going to argue and you are going not to achieve the challenge to improve in the next sprint, okay? Or maybe all the things that are happening, if you want to achieve value, like Victor Cooper say, if you want to show to your customer or to your product or your project new value, the first thing that we have to do in our team, in our Scrum team, is show my value, okay? Show my knowledge, show my skills, but show my attitude to this, okay? And for me, I think the agile way to do the things is the best way to do neuromanagement, because the ceremonies, the meetings are, it's like a match, okay? I think this kind of meetings that we use in Agile, if we use neuromanagement to do this, and I think when you read the principles, when you read the Agile manifesto, you realize that all the things that happen in this manifesto is speaking about this kind of situation, about neuromanagement, about this kind of environment to do the projects, okay? Now, all the companies are working about that, okay? A lot. Google, you can read this book. I think it's amazing. And it's a person that is Chade Mentan. I'm sorry, I don't know how the pronunciation of this. And Search Inside Yourself, okay? It's a book that is it's an investigation of Google, where the people is the way that the emotions or the target of each person has in the job has an impact in each project that Google has, okay? Other situation, I am PMP certification. I have this certification. It was maybe 10 years ago, and suddenly realized that the PME company or PM certification company has a new certification that the name is Project Management and Neuromanagement. And it was amazing when I found I'm going to renew my PMP certification. I'm going to do that, okay, because I think it's so different. But finally, I have to share with you that all of this situation that I'm speaking about, maybe are all a lie or not. For me, it's a very important trust, but it's the things that a person that is in front of you. I born in Canary Island. I live my life there for 20 years. Suddenly I realized that I want to know more about technology because my computer uh, had this problem maybe 30 years ago, okay? And I went to my university, I learned a lot of technology. Suddenly I have the opportunity to work in Babel. This is the first logo of Babel. I don't know if all of you knows about that. And suddenly I realized that people that I meet show me more knowledge, show me more capability to improve that all the things that I study in my professional life, in my career, in my university, and all the things. I live in New York City for a time. I do ultra marathons and I do 75 kilometers running, work in Babel. I father, and with this kind of image or pictures that I sharing with you, I want to explain only that this information that I share with you, it was my way. It is the way that I work, the way that I think is the best way to be a great company, to be a great professional, to be a great person, and I think it's the best way to achieve everything that you can imagine in your life. Okay, and this is only my way. Okay, all the people has their own way. This is not the perfect way, but we are all of us doing our best. Okay, I think I have to finish with that angle because it's very important for me. This kind of way to do the things. I can imagine that you are thinking that the project is the best important part. I can imagine that you can see that the technology or the way that you show the information is the best important part. For me, this is very important because all of us are doing our best in each moment. And I think if you keep this in mind, you are going to go through your work in a best way because your empathy with the other, I think, is easier than if you don't have this in mind. You have to keep in mind that maybe all the person is shooting you in the correct way. Maybe it's going to say you something that affect to your feeling, but in this moment the other person is doing their best, is doing his best or her best. Okay. For example, we have to think about leadership, about empathy, about trust, about emotionals, about thank you very much, thank you, about positive psychology, about Enneagram, about the value that we show in our projects, that we show our company, that we show our co-workers. But finally, I use neuromanagement. You can use other, or you can use other way to do the things, but you have to think always trying to do your best. You have the tools, and now you can go deeper to this kind of way to work. I think for me is changing my life all the days, my professional and my personal life, but keeping your mind always, whatever you stay, whatever is your professional life, whatever is your next step in your professional life, and whatever you are going to face, that always in your work or always in your is only people working. There is not other thing. Okay, there are people working, doing things, doing their best to achieve something. Okay, so thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you very much for your attention.